Now I think this video will show where Herpa does things really well, but it will also expose where Herpa does really rather poorly. But once more, all of this has been made possible thanks to the great prices of the FMB shop. I can highly recommend those guys. Do check them out. I've left a link to them in the video description below. So with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where today we'll take a closer look at a Boeing 737MAX8 of Arajet. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of that we have the Arajet branding. Now, on the backside of the box we have yet another cutout, and one of Herpa's main arguments for this cutout is that now collectors can see if the model is damaged without having to remove the aircraft model from the box. So let's take a closer look at the aircraft model. After all, we have two cutouts, so we should be able to see if the model is damaged. Do you see any damage? I don't. So I guess it's not damaged. Good news! Except this is how it arrived, and this is very common for Herpa Wings. I mean, this kind of damage you just cannot see when it is in the box. It doesn't matter how many cutouts you make into your box, and this is not specific for this aircraft model. This happens to pretty much all of Herpa Wings models, and that's mainly because the Chinese factory they use very often forgets to use any kind of glue when fixing these models together. So yes, Herpa Wings, do keep making these absolute shite boxes, because we can definitely see when our models are damaged. No, of course we can't, which is why I always recommend you, when you buy the model at a physical store, do always take the model out of the box and check it. Any store that denies you that, do not buy from them. So now that we have the stuff where Herpa does really poorly out of the way, let's focus on the good things. And here she is, the Boeing 737MAX8 in the current standard livery of Arajet. Now this is very exciting because this is the very first time we see this airline featured in Scale 500. It's a South American airline, so that alone is already, well, not being featured that often by Herpa Wings, and especially not as a single aisle. So yeah, many good things going on here. But how is the model itself? What can it offer collectors? That is what we want to find out throughout this review. And as always, we start our tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section. Here we find this beautiful Arajet, color scheme, branding, call it what you want. On the fuselage, we then have the arajet.com web address, we have the flag of the Dominican Republic, and we have the full registration code of the aircraft. Towards the very tail of the aircraft, we then also find a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. Now, at the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, we find the writing of Arajet and a few static ports printed on. Underneath the cockpit windows, we then have a little bit more writing. This loosely translates into the 3 eyes, which could be a very elaborate company slogan, but I guess it is the name of the aircraft. But if you know more about this and want to share your knowledge with me and the community, then feel free to let us know in the comment section below. Now, when we look at the cockpit section itself, we can see we of course have the cockpit windows with the lovely metallic edges around those, and we have the window wipers printed on. More details could definitely have been printed on here that would have elevated the aircraft for sure, but at least Herpa is once more doing really well with their 737 mold, especially the cockpit section itself. The shape of that, I think, is really nice. The engine nacelles have then been given this purple of the Arajet branding, and we have the silver leading edge printed on, as well as some safety markings, so that looks quite lovely. Also, the physical detailing of the 737 engines is really nice with the chevron nozzles, and of course also here from the front, very nice, you can see the engine fan blades. Then on the fuselage, just above the wings, we have the emergency exits printed on, and that leads us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. Starting off with the top side, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out quite nicely. We have the markings for the emergency exits printed on, as well as the full registration code. That we also find on the underside of the wings, alongside more nice physical detailing. While I do remain of the opinion that Herpa's 737 MAX winglets are a little bit too bulky, it is really marginal, and I think with the Arajet branding and color scheme here, it looks really quite nicely. Then we have the landing gear. That is the new and revised 737 MAX landing gear of Herpa Wings. That means it has been height adjusted, so it looks more realistic. This is all good, but unfortunately we are still missing some printed details. A pretty detail we do, however, find on the belly of the aircraft in form of the Arajet branding. That has, however, been willfully destroyed by Herpa Wings, adding a hole to the fuselage for a stand that is not included with this aircraft model, making it really quite pointless. And then, last but not least, we do also have the doors to the cargo compartments, printed on here at the back of the aircraft, and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the standard livery of Arajet from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500, and what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, apart from the quality issues, which however is not specific for this aircraft model but can affect any Herpa Wings model unfortunately, I am really happy with this aircraft model because it genuinely looks really nice. We have the brilliant 737 MAX mode of Herpa Wings, it looks even better now with the height adjusted landing gear. The print quality itself is also very nice, and which is even better, we have a South American airline that has never before been featured in scale 500. And it's technically not a very old airline. Sure, Dominican Wings, which was the predecessor of this airline, has been operating since 2014, but Arajet, as a low-cost carrier, has only been operating since 2021, so Herpa releasing this model at the end of 2023 is like light speed in the world of Herpa Wings. So while it might not be something for every South American collector, after all, South America is a very big place, I think it is a lovely addition to any South American collection, or for those who just want to have a little bit of a colorful dot in their collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, then feel free to leave a like, or if you're new around here, why not hit subscribe. With that, thanks so much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.